Hi, this is Roy, and I'm addressing the interaction and collaboration here in my online class site. This is Accounting 134 Income Tax Preparation. And the main way, of course, most of us contact our online students is through email. And as you can see here off to the left side are the Laulima announcements. I have two different types of announcements. One type is called the class name, Accounting 134, and the date, and I call it class message. So this is emailed to the students at their hawaii.edu email account and also posted here in the Laulima announcements list. The other type of announcement I have for students is called FYI, which is not emailed to the students, but the students would have to log in. For example, here, just reminding them to check their exam scores or questions students ask. For example, here, a student's asking this question up here, and here's my response. And I'm keeping them anonymous to promote students to ask questions. In fact, one of the, as I assign my students, let me go into the announcements folder here. And you can see I have a lot of announcements or I don't see my scroll bar here, but one of the activities assigned my students is to ask me a question. So here's an example of a set of questions students have asked me and my response. Just to get them into the feel of asking questions all the time and not be intimidated by not asking. So each of these are questions students are asking me during an assignment. And again, I'm trying to promote them to ask during the semester. And I keep them anonymous, so they're pretty sometimes personal, and I try to kind of maybe even hide some of their identification. Okay, so that's the main way I and students contact me. Other ways is through discussion folder here, where they can post up their opinions on specific activities I assign during the semester. Other ways they can interact is through with the tutor. I have a tutor link down here. This is Roy again, covering item number 2, assessments and learning outcomes. And of course, all of us should have on our course syllabus, which I have linked here, our SLOs, student learning outcomes. And I go over this with the students in an introductory video. You can see also linked off to the left side over here. In addition to the SLOs, I have chapter folders here. And in each chapter folder, let me open up one of them here. There are chapter outcomes or learning outcomes for each chapter that I link to the publisher's website. So each of these items are more specific than the student learning outcomes on the outline. Every assignment, every problem can be tied into these specific chapter outcomes here. So ways of assessing the students. I have weekly assignments. They're more learning activities. And here's some examples, not all, but some examples of assignments where the students would either upload or type in their input on these assignments here, including projects. And they're graded activities, and I give them feedback within the assignments folder themselves. Another assessment is through projects. I tried to list them in alphabetical order here. So here's projects. This is instructions. And again, they would be uploading them in the assignments folder. Another type of assessment is exams. I have a practice exam here for students, not to prompt them for the content, but just to give them an idea of what the format is for a Laulima exam. In terms of assessment or reflections, I try to provide students with feedback through the midterm evaluation. I actually make it available to them. Let me go really quickly through it. It's under announcements. And again, I try to provide lots of feedback here. So let's see, March 8th. So semester evaluation feedback. I make it public to my students, and you can actually read it if you go to this web address up here. This is a PDF file. And I encourage encourage other faculty to try this midterm evaluation to get some timely feedback, which actually has the students reflect on how they're doing, why they're doing good or bad, and the specific questions. Sorry, it's taking a while to upload here. The one I really like is this here. What makes learning difficult? And a lot of times if you read the answers, they're not trying to put blame, at least they have time to analyze, on others but themselves. And the third question, if I can scroll down to the last part, I don't see a scroll bar here off to the side. Here. What can be done to help you get more? So I can make adjustments or even promote things that's already there that they may not be aware of on our online class site. This is Roy again, covering item number 3, course design. And of course, most of us would have the tabs up here with the different courses. Not just making it easy for the student to navigate, but even for the teacher to navigate. So you can see my 3 different courses I teach right now this semester. And I have the same courses I taught last semester. So just in case I need to jump back to last semester's course, it's very easy to see what I had done. And you can see I also put a picture of our textbook, so it makes it really fast to identify which tab or which course you're in. Off to the left side, of course, is all our tools. And if I take a look at the student view, you can pretty much see that most of them, except for the home and this intro video links, are listed in alphabetical order to find them easier. Whenever I have a video, I try to make 2 different versions. One is this Flash version that doesn't say Flash, but also say for those Mac users who cannot use Flash, I have a non-Flash version where you can download the MP4 files. Whenever I have open up some tools, let's say the syllabus or schedule, it should pop open in a separate window so you can still see in the background the original window, and it makes it a little easier to navigate and maybe also easier to print out this separate smaller window. I tried to make current announcements off here on the left side to make it easier to find stuff right away. Hi, this is Roy again, addressing item number 4, course learning material design. So for the students that are totally lost, here I remind students up front what they have to do for each assigned chapter we covered during the semester. And of course, every week I'm sending them one email here called class message, and again posted here, reminding them what's going to be due the very next day here tomorrow, and then also what's due the following week. My due dates are usually Friday evenings to be consistent, so get the students into a routine. I invite my online students to come to my live class meeting if possible here on campus to get some additional help. And of course, we follow our class schedule that's posted for the whole semester. So it's not by specific class meeting or dates, but by weeks. And as you can see, we cover certain chapters during certain weeks, and every Friday there's something due. And every so often we have an exam or a project due. Okay, so that's on this schedule. Now the main tool the students would use is this chapter folders. And for every assigned chapter we have during the semester, there should be one folder. And in each chapter folder, there should be a link to learning outcomes and more links to quizzes and review questions that the students can do by themselves online. The main things I developed are these handouts and videos for each chapter. So in the case of the videos, which probably takes up the most work for me, I usually record maybe an hour's worth of videos for each chapter, and I break it down into a part 1 and a part 2. And again, I try to post up a Flash version and a non-Flash version for every video I make. I also go through problems at the end of the chapters that are videotaped over here, and not just giving them the answer, but what the actual thought process, the critical thinking, what would happen if you change the facts, or what would happen. I try to actually purposely mix up the students so they get confused and try to help them organize their thoughts. Again, this is probably the main thing I do a lot of work on, the videos for my students. This is Roy, addressing item number 5, learner support. I try to be very responsive to students' questions, especially by email. I tell my students I usually get back to them within an hour, if not even sooner. And these are again our announcements I send out, at least these class messages I send out to my students. But it doesn't even show, I would say, maybe almost the 70 or 80 emails I receive and respond to my students up to this point in the semester. But whenever I have questions from students that I want to share with others, I usually will post it up here, like here, student questions on the project, or student questions on specific items we're covering, like exemptions, claiming dependents. Okay, so it's not just answering one student, but sharing that with the whole class. I have a link here for our tutoring service, specifically for our accounting and tax students, and how to even get online tutoring through our Learning Resource Center. One of the options I give my students, again, is to come to the live class meeting. So that's mentioned at the end of every class message here in green to get some supplemental help. Another way of getting help is through volunteering. We have a volunteer income tax assistance program where students can actually get real life training by preparing real returns. And we had a lot of testimonials about how good it is, how much they learn, not just by doing things out of the textbook. This is Roy, addressing item 6, teaching innovations. One of the highest amount of work, the largest amount of work I do is creating videos. So here, again, for every chapter, let me change the chapter here. How about looking at chapter 2? I have a subfolder for videos. And let me see if I can play one. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear the audio. So this is a flash version of introducing chapter number 2. This is part 1 of our chapter 2 video lecture, where we're focusing on you can form, pause, and you can scroll forward or rewind. Notice how I try to write on the screen to make some emphasis, or to really focus on the part of the screen that I want to focus on, especially this yellow ball. You can highlight this with Camtasia Studio. And of course, you can maximize the screen to get it even bigger, or escape to get back to the regular size. Again, I do this for every chapter. I'm hoping I'm clicking on the right one here. This one here. I even have an introductory video with my webcam on, so students at least get an idea of what I look like. Hi, this is Roy Kamida in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, and this may be one of the few times. Okay, and in addition to that, I try to again respond very quickly to email, almost like texting. I want to be there for my students when they actually are doing the work. So some of the students, or a lot of the students, are surprised that how fast I can reply. And again, whenever I have questions that I want to share with the whole class, I will keep that student anonymous, but post the question and my response here in the announcement folder.